Some of you will want to know, remember, how long is a piece of string? That's what the mechanic says when you ask him how long will it last. Well, we're at Jerilderie on the way back from Lightning Ridge. The reason I like this car so much is my towing system. It's an overkill. It's designed to carry a 3-horse float, and I always hoped I'd have something like that because I love horses. So it's a level riding system, and it just means that the camper does not dip and sway, and it can sway if you brake suddenly, but it is lovely to drive this car when you're towing normally. Now I've left my problem too long. I couldn't ask Andrew to change the radiator a third time before Easter. Neither of us had enough time, and therefore I didn't risk using Fiberlock a second time before I left. This morning I ordered it from Cool Drive in Thomastown. I didn't want to have to drive all the way to Box Hill, and I've added to it a warning to them to cross out the line that says guaranteed to work or double your money back with a permanent marker, and anyone who stocks it should do that. As you know, because of the faulty thermostat, I flushed out that product after 5 or 6 days. I wish I'd left it in and changed the thermostat sooner to one that came from Ford and was a genuine product. Now I have a problem of I've got oil for the first time in my radiator system here. So I think I've left it too long to do anything about it. I'm blowing white smoke when I start off. Runs reasonably well at high speeds, but it chugs like a, I don't know what, when you are at low speeds. Now just going to check the oil. I checked it last night and it was okay, but it looks pretty burnt to me. It's not like it was just before Christmas when I had last oil change and when I've been checking it. Now underneath this, if I could get it undone, which some male has done it up too hard for me. No, can't do that. If you look under this, you can sometimes see white stuff there. That indicates whether you've got moisture in with your oil. It's fairly warm, but we've sat and waited for 15 minutes and then it becomes, actually it's probably been 20 minutes while we had lunch. It becomes very quick and easy to open your radiator then, if you can let it just cool down from boiling point. So I've topped it up again. I might get back to Melbourne. I might get back to Cool Drive before they shut. They're only open Monday to Friday until 5 p.m. Not open on weekends. Don't know anywhere else in Melbourne that sells this product. K&W Fiberlock. And I would love to have tried it a second time, but I don't know if I'm going to get the chance. Car may not last that long. So that's the answer to how long is a piece of string. We travelled from Ballarat to Melbourne to Lightning Ridge, and we're 330 kilometres from Melbourne on the way back. So, oh gee, mental arithmetic really quick. That means over 2,000 kilometres towing has been acceptable, but we're reaching the end of this string. And it's a real shame because I'm booked in to go to Sydney with this in July. Now, and I've got other reasons for hoping that this car would last just that little bit longer. Okay, there you go. There's my tips. I'm going to try K&W Fiberlock on the weekend if I get home, and see if it stops it chugging like anything. It blows white smoke now when you start it. Well, we made it home yesterday. All the way home we stopped at practically every town that was about an hour distance apart, and I put in about 5 litres every time we stopped. It became quicker and quicker to open it because there was less and less water in the whole system to come bubbling up. So it doesn't take 15 minutes when there's no water in there. Now last night I forgot. and nearly ruined it totally. Adam wanted to go out after we just got back with the camper and catch up with some friends before he goes back to Ballarat. He wanted to go to a cafe in Eltham. And it meant and because he wanted to have a couple of drinks with them, he couldn't take his car. So I volunteered to drive him there rather than let him leave his car. Oh, sorry, why am I looking at this? Rather than let him leave his car at didn't know that would do that. Sorry. Rather than let him leave his car overnight at the service at the Watsonia station. So I drove him down there, picked up a mate on the way who was catching the train from Montmorency, and came back. And on the way back, it overheated. I had to pull up. I put the heater on, started to bring it down a touch, but then it just went skyrocketing again, and within 50 metres easily or less. So basically I knew I didn't have enough water. What I think happens is every time you stop and let it cool down enough to cool down off boiling point, you lose so much steam through it, you empty this. So I had effectively, by arriving home and stopping and forgetting to put water in it before I started the car again, I'd effectively lost not just the 4 litres that you lose every time you stop, but the 4 litres from travelling I'd lost, and then when I stopped I lost another 4 litres. Fortunately I'd bought some anti-boil stuff, and so I was carrying 2 of these full of water. The other nice thing too was that a lovely gentleman named James arrived into his driveway, and this is like 10 to 10 at night, and I'd come out with the wrong handbag because Adam had just grabbed it for me so I could take him down there. And I didn't have a phone, so I couldn't call the RACV. Well, he arrived home and then he reversed out of his driveway with a trailer on behind, and I went up to him to see if he needed me to move the car forward just a tiny bit. I was hoping I could do it so he could get his car and trailer on the main road. And I explained what had happened. He offered to either ring the RACV for me, and then when he knew I was only local, he said, "I'll drive you home if you need help," which I would have accepted. And he suggested I leave it there overnight. And I must admit, I said, well, I'd love someone to steal it. I'd like to claim under insurance, but then no one would pinch it anyway. They'd try starting it and then it chugs like the kid thinks it chugs like that train. I think I can. And I'd have to say, I think I can't with this car. They wouldn't bother taking it and stay on the side of the road. I wouldn't get an insurance claim. Anyway, and I've actually been praying for trees to fall on it, all sorts of things. Kangaroos to jump across the road and hit it. But I didn't get that. My mum said you should stop praying for the kangaroos. You never know what might happen. It's not a good thing. Anyway, I'm going to put this stuff in one more time, and I'm not going to bother... Oh, where have I left it? Over behind the camera, sorry. You all know how I gave away the other half of the bottle to Dave, and it fixed his car brilliantly. And he poured his in through some sort of big pipe like this. I was thinking I could do the same, but my big pipe goes straight to the thermostat, and that thermostat will be closed. And as soon as I tip it back down here to hook it up to there, it'll all pour out. So that's no point, and then this side just goes direct into the radiator anyway, so I may as well do what they tell me to do, and that is not pour it into there, pour it into here, and see if it works. Now I've got to shake this for 30 seconds, but I wanted to tell you about this. I think every time you stop and allow it to cool down, no matter if you just drive 10 minutes, you're going to lose 4 litres. So be careful if you're trying to do like I did and tow with a cracked head. You do have to fill up very, very regularly, and you need a fair bit of water. Okay. Now one more thing. When we did get home, tried to reverse it. I'll show you something different for a sec. Okay, tried to reverse it in the camper into the driveway, which we haven't finished unpacking yet. Sorry, it's a bit off even. And as you can see, we started to build rock retaining walls once before we knew we were even buying a camper. Unfortunately, we ran out of the 5 tonne of stone that we've used all round the back and the front of the house, just at that point there. Now, trying to get this in last night, past that point, my car almost hits the stonework. And so Adam was standing, watching and giving me directions, but it had to try and get over this hump in the front down here, and it was causing it to work really hard. So it was blowing massive white smoke, so much that he couldn't see the distance of 1 foot through all the smoke in the almost pitch black. It was almost dark. Yeah, the car was just a foot away from the stonework and he couldn't see, so we ended up pushing the camper into place, taking it off, putting blocks behind and just pushing it by hand. Now that I've got adult children, they can do that. Adam said that the smoke was really sweet. It wasn't like normal burnt oil coming out. It was a big cloud of white, sweet smelling stuff. And he Googled it. He tells me this morning or late last night after I told him I was doing this. And he Googled it and found that sweet smelling smoke is purely the water burning when you, and the coolant, the green stuff. So it's not necessarily got the oil in there. And I realised too that when I'd been looking in here to see if there was any, if this black stuff I can now see here and around on this rim was oil, I can't see anything floating in the coolant. And oil would float on top. So maybe it's not past the point of no repair. There's no floating oil on the top of this. So that's a good sign. And this black stuff that I'm seeing could just be carbon from the exhaust gases. So it may still be repairable. I'm not flushing it this time. I've got enough product in here to do this twice. I'll do it once without a flush, see if that works, and then I'll try it one more time with a flush, because I've got enough product. It only costs $47.30 from Cool Drive. And they got some in Thomastown. You don't have to go over to Box Hill to get it. Can't find it anywhere else in Victoria. Not yet. I did tell them that they've got to cross out this. Double money back guarantee. No one in Australia should sell any product with that sort of garbage on it. Because, okay, the manufacturer might give them their money back, but the arguments they've got to go through, the time wasted fighting someone who might want to make a small claim at the small claims tribunal, it's not worth selling this product. So I've told them to get a permanent marker and put a black line through all that garbage. Okay, so I have the right one that goes into the radiator. 2 cups is what I need. Just under 2 cups actually. Takes a while to go down. And I've moved my car away from the fish pond. Now I've got to run it for 15 minutes. This had to be done while it was cold. I don't know if that's because the product, I guess it's purely for our own safety. Because the product works, obviously, while you've got it hot to a degree, although it moves through the system while it's cold. I'll have to fill it up with water. I don't want it overheating. Now, that's empty in 10 minutes that I drove, 7 minutes that I drove home last night from where I put the 8 litres in. So, obviously cooling down allows the water to disappear, or the pressure to blow it out. A trusty can. Actually, this isn't going to take quite as much water as it has been taking in the past. It's down to there, and it has been taking the full 4 litres every other time I stopped. So 7 minutes, didn't quite use it all up. 15 minutes, heater on high. See if it works, stops blowing smoke, stops running really rough. You'll see how rough it is. That's not as bad as it was, that smoke. Don't know why. Oh, because it's not working as hard. But you can still see it. It shouldn't be showing out white smoke like that. Actually, it's building. Well, it's definitely not repaired it instantly, has it? Just quickly, because I'm sitting at a service station, I wasn't going to put any more fuel in this car. Hang on, here's you can see I've done some distance. Because as I drove around and round a big block, the first 10 minutes I was blowing white smoke everywhere. And I thought, that's it. It's not going to repair it. And I was just about to head home because I didn't like leaving the smoke in front of my neighbour's place. And I thought, oh, I'll just run it in the driveway. And as I was leaving to get home, I realised it was running a bit smoother. And so I kept driving round and round the block. You can see the time's changed. And then I thought, well, it'll have blown out lots of vapour because it's used the water. So I thought I'll go up to a service station just in case, and I'll put some more antifreeze in. I'll easily be able to pour in another 4 litres. But I've popped the bonnet and it's lost only a little bit, so I bought a little bit. And I bought some clean oil. I might top up my oil. I'd like to do an oil change, but that's for the mechanics, not me. So I'm pretty excited. I think my car is on the mend. Unbelievably. Anyway, so that's the product that fixed it all. This is the first bottle. You can see it warped while sitting in the car. What's the label say? K&W Fibre Lock. You get it from Cool Drive. Maybe some other stores will start to sell it soon. But I hope they take my tip and put a permanent marker line through that yellow line on it that says, what does it say? I haven't got glasses. Double money back guarantee. Stupid. Don't need that. Not in Australia. My brother's planning on taking his back because of the damage it did to his radiator, which it was easily repaired. Would have cost him $7 to replace his radio, but he says it's permanently fixed his head. His car's still running well. And he's tested it a few times. I'm going to test mine with the block checker, but I need to get rid of the exhaust fumes that are in the container of coolant at the moment, and then I'll test it. Okay, but I think I've saved my car.